Good morning, everybody. Andy here with South Florida Professionals with our mortgage guru, Paul Anastacio. Paul, good morning, my friend. It is
Andy,
August 10th, 2022. Paul, how you been, buddy?
Andy, I'm well, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Paul, I'm looking forward to today's chat with you here. Mindset is everything. Wow, that's deep. That's deep.
Hey, Andy, by the way, month of August, my birthday month, man. You know, I am deeper than ever this month, buddy. And let me tell you, it's all about the mindset. You know, there's a lot of news out there, negativity, stuff like that. And what I've learned, what you focus on, you get more of. So we're going to talk a little bit about some mindset stuff today. And we're going to share some ideas on maybe how to save some money, which is always a good thing.
And Paul, no matter what's happening in the news, no matter all the stuff, all the negativity, it's always a good time to buy, isn't it?
It's always a good time to buy, man, because yeah, of course, because it really stinks to rent. And last I hear, rents are not going down, they're only going up. So while people focus on rates, people, they forget that they're paying 100% interest on the rent, on their monthly rent payment to their landlord. So maybe we can help those folks out.
Folks, listen up. And Paul's going to share some nuggets of information here. I had a chance to speak to him earlier about this broadcast, and wow, what he explained there, I'm going to ask him to explain it in English, but what he explained there was good stuff, good stuff. And he has a couple of strategies for you to save money right now, today. So, Paul, we were talking earlier about credit card debt and people that owe money, and you went into this very detailed explanation that blew me away. But listen, I'm just an average consumer. Explain that in English so that our viewers can understand.
Yeah, well, thanks, Andy. Well, credit card debt, guys, is I think almost at an all-time high. Is what I've checked recently, and I work with a couple of people that do credit repair, and they're seeing a ton of people dealing with this. And credit card debt is high. I mean, hopefully the people listening to this broadcast, it doesn't apply to you, but the reality is that the average American, their savings, they're using a lot of their credit cards. It is what's going on, unfortunately. Even though jobs is at an all-time high, unemployment is low. 300,000 jobs were added last month. There's still a ton of consumer debt going on. The good news is, Andy, is that there is a ton of equity, especially if you bought pre-pandemic. People have a ton of equity in their homes. So we're going to address the issue this week with people and that's why it's called mindset is everything, because how can I speak to you as a consumer that has a 3% mortgage? How can I speak to you and maybe tell you that a 5.5% mortgage may help you and save you money? You're going to think I'm nuts, but the beauty is that numbers, they never lie. People may lie, but numbers never do. So I'm going to go over some examples with you today. One example in particular of an actual client, name has been blurred, on how they went from 3 to 5.5%. And guess what? They saved $823 a month. I don't know what $823 may mean in your family or the person listening here, but $823 for the average family is a ton of money. So we're going to talk about that today.
So Paul, we have quite a few amount of people watching the broadcast. I want to invite anybody to post your questions in the comments there on Facebook comments, and Paul will go ahead and answer it. If we don't answer it live right now, Paul will hop in there afterwards. But I see that there's quite a few people out there wondering, how am I going to go to a higher interest rate and save money? Paul, talk to me.
Hear me out, guys. Again, most people have a ton of equity in their homes today. So let's take a house that's worth $525,000, which I don't know where you can find one in Kendall. I always mention Kendall, but let's say you have a place that's worth $525,000. Let's say you have a current mortgage of $350,000 at 3%. Your payment is roughly $1,500 a month, roughly PITI. Now that person has a credit card of $20,000 at an interest rate of 19.99. If you've been listening to the news, you know that the Fed has raised rates. And the rates, by the way, that they've been raising are the rates that affect your HELOCs, your credit card, your installment loans, all those things. So guess what? These numbers are going to even go up, right? So $20,000 debt, credit card, pretty normal. I see it all the time, trust me. Maybe you don't have it, but a lot of people do. At 19%, that payment right there is roughly $800 a month. And it's going to take, you're going to pay off about $34,000 with that credit card. Next, you have a smaller card at 8% with a higher rate at 21.99. Your payment is $325. It's going to take about $16,000 to pay that off. Your last debt, and this is weird, only 2 credit cards in one car. Very strange. Most people have multiple credit cards and multiple cars. The last one is a $30,000 car loan at $399, pretty good rate, right? Your payment is $550. If I take all that together, yeah, I added up to $3151, and it's going to take about 16 years to pay that off, right? So if I offer you a loan at 5.5%, oh my God, stop it, Paul. That's horrendous. That's slander. 5.5%. Guess what? At 410,000, which will pay off your current mortgage and pay off all your debts and your closing costs, by the way, you're looking at a payment of $22.38 a month. $22.38 minus a 31 and change, you're looking at over $800 a month savings. Again, I don't know what $800 a month may mean for your family, but for a lot of families, it's huge. So again, mindset is everything. Is it right for you? Maybe, maybe not. That's why you need to have a conversation with a mortgage professional to show you the numbers. I always say this, you guys have heard this before. People may lie, but numbers never lie. So speak with a mortgage professional like myself. It's totally free. We'll go over your debts. We'll go over, what your goals are. Some people here may say, yeah, but I'm going to pay it off in 16 years. Well, do the 16 years times 800. What is it going to cost you? And remember what I say here, guys, that it's not my line, but this is an incredible line. You marry the home, you date the rate. So what happens is you get this house at 5.5 today, maybe a year, 2 years, you still build equity, and then you refinance it. And at that point, my suggestion, which I do it for my clients all the time, let's analyze and refinance you into a 15-year or a 20-year loan. And let me show you through an amortization chart how quickly you can pay off your mortgage, because my goal for you is to own your home outright, to hold that power, and if you bought pre-pandemic, you have a ton of equity in your home, and hopefully you're not carrying debt. And what I showed you there was $28,000 in credit card debt and a $30,000 car loan. Believe it or not, that is super low. Most people have double and triple that amount, which means that they would save thousands of dollars per month. So again, mindset is everything. Allow me to show you numbers, and then you can make your own decision. So that's my message for all of you today.
So I used to call you the mortgage guru. I think I'm going to change that name now. Financial strategist guru. Now, most people, Paul, I'm going to admit, most people wouldn't even come up with that. I mean, most people will be like, oh man, I owe. I'm lucky I have this low mortgage rate. But on point. I mean, when you take the equity that is now available in most homeowners, real estate, that's brilliant. And you may be right. You're probably right. People lie, but numbers don't. And that what you explained down there makes totally perfect math sense. Shout out to Matthew Taylor watching us live. Matthew, you have any questions there? Just hop in, buddy. So, Paul, what you described, it makes sense. Does that apply to people of a younger demographic, or maybe elders, people that have been in their home for a while? And I'm thinking far ahead, right? I'm thinking, hey, you pay off your property, you pay off your home. Now you have an asset that you can leave for your kids.
Right.
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That applies, Andy, that applies to anybody. Again, this has to do with equity. This has to do with debt. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter anything. What I can say about that situation, where you're asking about people that have their homes paid. For example, one of the last loans that I closed was a reverse mortgage. It was a lady that had a house in Coral Gables. The house is worth 1.5. We were able to do a jumbo reverse mortgage on that. And the reason, some people, again, it's about education. Some people think reverse loans may be bad. I know our friend Mario Quintero does a lot of them. He's a great guy. But let me tell you, for the right person, they're amazing, right? And this lady was able to cash out a couple $100,000 to basically set up a future for her to have, because she's house rich, cash poor. There's a lot of people like that. If you're a house rich today because you have 400,000 of equity and you're carrying debt, and let's say that you have a house at a low rate, you really need to speak to somebody because, number one, you can start a business, right? You can start a business with it. You could invest. You could pay off your debt. You could send your kids to college. You could do a lot of things. So why would you, you can't take it with you when you go. So while some people say, hey, I'm going to leave the house to my kids and God bless them for that, the reality is if you can't live and eat, you need to use whatever assets you have to help you. And again, I see a ton of people carrying a lot of debt on their credit cards every month that have a ton of equity. And really, it doesn't make sense because they're so tied into, they're married to that rate when when it should be the other way around. Be married to the home, the rate is going to change. Later on, you can secure it and get your lower rate. And that's it. That's my message for you today is like, if you're carrying debt, you should look into the possibility of refinancing. I know it sounds weird because the rates are high, even though 5.5 is still historically low. But again, why are you paying 20, 21%, 19%? I see these installment loans that people get from all these different companies, $700-800 a month payment on a $30,000 loan. It's insane. You have the equity, use it to pay it off. And that's it. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys.
Well, it definitely makes better sense to me, folks. Folks, mortgageloansbypaul.com is the place where you can learn more about Paul Anastacio and multiple services that he offers. You can even click a link and apply for a loan application right there on the website. And of course, Paul, do you charge to speak to anybody?
I charge nothing. I just use your time and my time, which is it's a pleasure. I enjoy speaking with people. I enjoy helping people. It's a passion of mine. It's a passion of mine to help people get into homes. If you know my background, my mom couldn't get financing. It's always driven me to help people, single moms, families, anybody. And yeah, I take the hard loans and the easy loans as well, of course. But I love helping people. It's a passion of mine, and hopefully you can see it through this podcast.
Folks, the number to call is 305-336-0383. The number will be posted in the comments section below in the video, 305-336-0383. That will ring directly to Paul's cell phone. That's right. You'll talk to Paul. You won't talk to anybody saying, well, we'll take a message. He'll call you back. Even though he likes golfing, as you can see in the background there, Paul is a golfer. So, Paul, when was the last time you golfed?
It's been a couple of weeks, to be honest, man. It's I've fallen a little bit off my ways, but I will be hitting the links this weekend sometime, probably on Sunday. So if anybody wants to join, reach out to me. If you're a golfer, please reach out to me because again, it's not just about business, people. It's about relationships. And for me, I love what I do and I love connecting with people. So if you're a golfer and you enjoy cigars, even better. That's a win-win.
So we'll definitely have to do a broadcast on golfing and cigars at a future day. But today, folks, today is how you can lower your overall debt, your overall interest rates on your credit cards. Mindset is everything. It's a free call, 305-336-0383. Get in contact with Paul, mortgageloansbypaul.com, and just talk to him. I mean, he just told you, I'm not going to charge you. Talk to him and see how you can lower your overall debt. And of course, if you're still renting, shame on you. It's always a good time to buy. You may say, well, I can't afford. Paul, last words, closing statements. What's your answer to I cannot afford to buy?
I'm working with a family right now that the dad is helping the daughter buy a home because he's tired of her paying rent. She's been paying rent for 5 years. And we did the math. 1,600 times 12 times 5, a lot of money. So if you can't buy today, talk to me. Maybe there's a way that we can set you on a path. And maybe you're not ready. Maybe your credit's not there. Maybe your income's not there. Maybe you don't have family to help you with the down payment. But let's put you on a path, right? Because if you were to get on a plane today that told you, we don't know where we're going, we're just going to go somewhere. If it didn't have a plan, do you think, would you get on that plane? More than likely not. So why would you just go through life without a plan? You realize that tomorrow your landlord could raise your rent. I hope you know that. That's what's been going on. That's what there's attorneys fighting all those things. So again, make the call. Let's set up a plan for you. Maybe you can't buy today, but maybe in 6 months or a year you can buy. So let's get an action. Let's get you on a budget. Let's work on your credit. Let's work on some things that we can control, and then we let everything else unfold as it does. Let it flow. But let's take that step.
Solid advice from Paul Anastacio, our very own mortgage guru. Folks, 305-336-0383. Stop watching the news. Mindset is everything. Contact Paul and get yourself into your future home today for you and your family. And of course, if you have high credit card debt, you heard that already. Get in contact with Paul. He'll tell you a formula that I don't quite understand yet, but he will explain it to you in black and white. And of course, if you're watching this video and you know somebody that's renting, your family member, friend, colleague that is having issues paying their rent or doing whatever with their future property, forward this video to them. You never know, the person that sees this video, the person that you're going to reach, you're going to touch, will be eternally grateful for you for helping them get into the dream property. Paul, thank you, my friend. I know you're busy. You're closing those mortgage loans. I want to thank you for joining us every 2 weeks. Folks, we're back in 2 weeks, and you can hear more from Paul Anastacio by visiting his website, Mortgage Loans by Paul. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Andy, and thanks everyone for watching. Have an amazing day.